Men of Reddit, what are some less obvious red flags about men you would want to caution women against? A friend of mine dated a guy who apparently everyone wanted to fight. At the gym. This guy over here want to throw down. At a mall. Those guys look like they want to get hit. At the grocery store. This dude is looking at me like he wants to go outside. No, Steve. No one feels like fighting you. You are just on steroids. Any aversion to taking responsibility. The older I get, the more I find that the men I respect most aren't the ones with great achievements to their names, but rather the ones who aren't afraid to own their shit. Don't trust a man who can joke about others but can't take it. Edit. I know that this can apply to women. The thing is, I shouldn't need a disclaimer just to gain permission to critique men, and some of you shouldn't need to drag women down just to acknowledge a personality flaw. If anything happens to him and he always shifts blame to someone else, or something else, or the situation, that is a big red flag. Sooner or later everything will be your fault. Also, if their story, complaint, rant, or explanation sounds too one-sided, again unable to take blame themselves, they are lacking empathy. Red flag. So about his last 3 relationships and why they ended. If it is always the girl was crazy, it's him, Hess crazy. When you have to cater to his needs/wants over your own with no compromise. It can be something as only watching shows that he wants, or doing things only he wants to do, or ordering takeout that only he likes. Many men only know how to relationship flirt. They will say things like "I'm looking for something long-term" when really they just want to hook up. You'll be able to tell if a guy is nice by how he behaves. If a guy tells you he's nice, ignore that. That's meaningless. If he's dumb, but thinks he's smart. If he isn't on the same level of maturity of you, regardless of age, don't go for it. One of you will turn into the parent. If they verbally attack you in an argument rather than discuss the issue. If they constantly shit-talk other guys. If he starts throwing tantrums over petty things, there is worse on the horizon. He's not passionate, he's unstable. If they behave like they know everything. Change is certainly not their cup of tea. If a guy is doing the minimum of what you want in a long-term relationship at the beginning, it's going to be well below your standards after a few years. I would expect about half of what you see in the first year. I'm coming in late, but this is something I've tried to teach all my daughters. Men will show you how they feel with their actions. If they say they care, but don't put in the effort, listen to the actions. Not the words. Good advice for dating, but also good advice for life really. This goes for both genders, but don't date someone under the assumption that they'll change something fundamental about themselves. Not fair to either of you. When they don't respect the word no, even in the most benign of circumstances. If he doesn't want to talk about awkward stuff while you're dating, then he might not want to talk about awkward problems in the relationship. Edit. It is interesting how people make their own interpretation of things. I never gave any definition of awkward, nor did I specify any timelines, but some folks seem to cherry-pick the definitions they want, so they can discount this. Unfortunately, it doesn't change the core concept. If you are dating someone, and they have stinky socks they leave lying around, instead of going into the laundry, that's an awkward topic. If one person talks about how much they want to be a parent to their own biological kids, and the other knows they don't want children, that's an awkward topic. Humans do have a tendency to try to avoid stuff that makes them uncomfortable, or scares them. We tend to hope problems will go away if we leave them alone. I've talked to a lot of friends who got divorced, who thought their partner would change after marriage. You don't need to give your intimate autobiography on a first date. But if you see an obvious issue, like the children example, there's no point in waiting a while to point it out. If he's a selfish lover in bed, he'll likely be a selfish partner in life. Lots of gossip. If he talks about other people, he'll talk about you. When someone is declaring multiple times they are not a certain way without prompt, they are actually that way, blaming their childhood on treating you and others like rubbish. This one is extremely obvious, yet I've seen dozens of women still make the same mistake. If he's rude, selfish and possessive before you're dating, he will not change once you start dating. I don't know why so many women think that a man will have an epiphany and become better once they get in a relationship. People very rarely change. If you hear a little voice inside you that says I can change this man, he is not the man for you. A green flag to look for is long-term friendships. Long-term friends require good communication skills and emotional intelligence. It's also a pretty good indicator that they're willing to compromise for someone's emotional needs. Remember, the top comment on today's video will make it into tomorrow's video. Be sure to answer the question in the comments below.